Live!
There it is.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Victoria Shoots the Breeze with Paul Ash today. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Victoria. How are you doing?
I'm good. How early is it?
It's 10 a.m., but this is the COVID times, and so I'm here in a household of people who are asleep in bed. So it's
Oh, really?
gotta be
Me too.
quiet.
Yeah.
Can you hear me when I do this? I'm not sure
Yes,
if you can hear me.
I can hear you. We could do a whole ASMR episode. Can you hear me?
All right.
That's nice.
Welcome. Hi. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm
How,
good.
how, how's your weekend been?
Uh, Fun. It was my birthday on Friday, I think. I don't know. I don't really celebrate my birthday. How was your weekend?
First off, I'm saying happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
My weekend, well, is it's I'm sort of been on a permanent weekend. I feel like because it's like I've not been working because of everything that's been going on. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a very very long weekend.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like there's no difference. In the before we went live, he was like, "It's early for a Saturday." I'm like, "It's Sunday. We're Sunday today."
It's early for a Wednesday. It's early
For a
for
day.
for a
For
day.
for during the day.
Yeah.
You said you're starting work again soon.
Yeah.
What are your
Uh,
projects? What are you working on?
um. Well, I'm gonna do the Dirty Four stand-up show on Thursday. And Wednesday, uh, I'm going to be in a film. So
Ooh, what
yeah.
film? Tell me more
Actually,
about that.
I don't know the name of the project. So I'm just a hired gun to go in. It's just one scene that I'll be there for. So
Oh, okay. Are you like an extra? You have a line?
I'll be in an extra in this one. I
Okay.
did I did uh, have a role in a commercial that's coming out in well, it'll probably be out in about a month.
What
Um, so
a
that's the only
com
other work.
a
Yeah,
commercial
yeah.
here, like in Montreal, like we're gonna see it with our eyes, or it's gonna be in like Michigan or like.
I believe it will be here in. It's supposed to be a web release first, and then it's going to possibly be ported over to TV. So we'll see when it comes out. It should be fun. I don't want to mention who it's for until it's out. So
Oh, okay. That's fine. What are auditions like? I was wondering.
nowadays it's at home like this with my with either my phone or my camera.
Um,
Um, but
but like
yeah.
before, like in the before times, like what was it like? Because you see in movies, like the actress, she's like blonde, pretty, and she'll go in a room, and it's like a bunch of pretty blonde girls, and she's like, "Oh my god, why are they gonna pick me?" And then she goes in front of like three judges. I don't know.
Yeah, it's first off, it's you can't take any of it personal. I think they say that you should only get you probably only get like only 1 out of 10 things you audition for, and it's never really up to you. You do your best, but
Mm,
they have in their mind what they're looking for, and part of it might be a look, part of it might be an attitude,
right.
just part of it might be someone who's related to the producer. That's we got to have that. But
Yeah.
they'll be auditioning other people anyways. So you go out there, you do your best, you interpret the script that you have, and yeah, and then it connects or it doesn't connect. So
Do you like wear like all black, or like you come with your own costume?
I try to dress semi appropriately, but I also try to dress fairly neutral.
Okay.
That way, I'm not going to unintentionally skew their ideas any particular direction. Like I
Okay.
don't want I don't want to give a first impression, that might be not what they're considering.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah. You want to be able to blend into their imagination
exactly.
or something.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
yeah.
interesting. And then when did you start acting? I was wondering, like, how long have you been pursuing this?
Um, it's something I sort of accidentally fell into. Um, and it's been an off and on thing. It's sort of been like my comedy career. It's been an off and on thing. Um, I would I think I was about 21 when um I first started doing stuff. I was in a national beer commercial. I started doing stand up comedy, and I met somebody who said, "Hey, if maybe get you should talk to my agent. They're looking for people." So I talked to them, and they said, "You're a stand up comic," and this was in Nova Scotia, so there wasn't a lot of stand up comics,
Wait,
and
yeah,
so
you have an agent?
I have an agent here in Montreal. I've had about 4 or 5 different agents
Mm-hmm.
over the years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Um, but so yeah, I did a like a national beer commercial, and then I got into a pilot, and then we were told that the pilot was picked up, and then it got canceled just a
um,
month. I get the script for the first, like I was an extra for the pilot,
mm-hmm.
and but there was an actor who dropped out of the pilot the week before filming, and so they never recast it, and they just adjusted the script to not include him,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it got picked up. I got asked to audition for the role, and I auditioned for the role. I got the script for the first episode. So here I am, like 21, and this is like the second or third thing I have ever done, and I'm getting a role in a pilot, and or not in a pilot, in a TV series that's going to be on CBC, and then it got canceled. And I thought I didn't at that point. I went, oh, this stuff's all easy. So and I've never had as a big a role and as a big a thing since. So it's
Oh, yeah.
it sort of gave me a false hope at that point about what can be.
But you got
Uh,
the drive from there to like be an actor.
I actually I mean I very much appreciate the craft of acting. I love the craft of acting, but I consider myself a stand-up comic first,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's just the paychecks with acting are a lot better than what you get with stand-up comedy.
Oh, I can
So for
understand.
for me, acting is a way to supplement stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
Um,
and I guess like the two crafts sort of feed into each other, right? Like you
oh,
would use acting in your stand up and you might use stand up in your acting. I don't know.
exactly, and it's also for promotion for stand up. It makes a bit of a difference to be, oh, hey, this person has been in that film, or this person, you see this person in commercials or whatever. So it helps get crowd recognition when you step
Yeah.
on stage.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
yeah.
Um,
So and
Peter
there is some skill crossover as well. So.
Peter here asks, Paul, what did you think of the new Batman? Did
Uh,
you
are, is he talking about Robert Pattinson, or is he talking about the animated one, or?
I think the one I saw a trailer like this morning of a live action. I think it's Robert Pattinson. Peter, would you care to
Yeah,
elucidate
yeah.
for us which new Batman? But what did you think of Robert Pattinson?
Well, I've only seen pictures so far. I haven't seen him doing it. Um, I all right. When Michael Keaton was announced as Batman, everyone went, "Oh no, that's going to be horrible. He's going to be a horrible Batman." And the thing is, I was one of the few people. I was working in a comic book shop at the time, and I was one of the few people that was saying, "No, no, this guy can act."
Yeah.
and he, to this day, he is, I would say, my favorite Bruce Wayne and Batman, because the fact, there's one scene which demonstrates it, is the Joker pulls up while the mayor is giving a speech and Bruce Wayne is standing beside the mayor,
Hmm.
and you just watch, Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. You watch the Bruce Wayne mask drop, and he becomes Batman, and he gets that focus, and he begins to take a couple steps forward, and then he realizes he's dressed as Bruce Wayne, and he pulls it back. Now, this is all done without any special makeup, without any special effects. Like, this was acting, and he portrayed both Bruce Wayne and Batman uh, amazingly. I liked Ben Affleck. I thought Ben Affleck's Batman was very much uh, I found his Bruce Wayne to be a little weak, but I
Hmm.
found his Batman to be very like Frank Miller's Batman, and I
Okay.
thought he did a really good job at it. Um, and I've seen pictures of Robert Pattinson, and I know that Robert Pattinson can act, so I'd like to see what he can do with it. He isn't. He doesn't
Yeah.
have a big build. He didn't bulk up quite the way that Ben Affleck did. So we'll see how it goes. But Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are both going to come back as Batman in the new Ezra Miller Flash movie. Uh,
What?
so
So
yeah.
there's gonna be like double, triple Batmans?
Well, the thing is, apparently in that film, he's going to go through the multiverse,
Oh,
and he's going to
oh,
encounter all these different Batmen.
oh, that's so
Uh,
cool.
yeah, and yeah, it's just I don't know if you've seen the film Birdman,
No.
which, okay, it's a Michael Keaton film where he plays an actor who wants respect for his acting ability, but he played this superhero called Birdman when he was younger, and he's trying to launch a play. And Ed Norton is in it, playing a very egotistical actor,
Okay.
and it's very intense. Uh, and it's but the thing is, it's Michael Keaton was sort of spoofing the fact that he was Batman all this while ago. So
Oh, I see.
he can very much. I would say he definitely has the chops to play like an old aged Batman, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like he was the Vulture in the MCU, the Marvel movies. So
Right. I'm not really following those Marvel movies. There's so many of them.
there's a lot, and they do sort of look, they weave together to tell a bigger story, but they can be seen as standalone. So you can just see the ones you want to see.
I know, but they're also so very long. They're like 2 hours and a half now.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, It's I think media is changing. I think
Yeah, that's
uh,
true.
like I think in the before times it started to change, but now we are there's different things that are happening. It's the fact that so many people are home. People now can work from home. Uh, there's such a plethora of online entertainment. Movie theaters and have sort of really scaled back. I mean, we're in Montreal, so we're one of the hardest hit places.
Yeah.
We are the hardest hit place in Canada.
Mm.
So, um, the social distancing thing is really important. And so that's why theaters, etc., are not opening up as they probably should or could. Um, and so that means people are looking for different ways to have entertainment. So doing it at home, doing it where you can pause a 2 hour or two
Oh,
and a half
I
hour
see.
movie,
Yeah.
right? It's not going to make as big an effect. People are binging things. There was one thing I heard. There was a oh, I can't remember what. There's some series that is coming out, and rather, I don't think it was Netflix, but rather than dump an entire season all on one day so
Mm-hmm.
people can binge it, they're going to start releasing it weekly, which feels so much like a throwback.
Why
Like,
would they do that?
That's so they can keep people talking about it, and it also reduces online spoilers, because now it's like people watch an episode, and if they want more, they have to rewatch that episode or go back to the previous episodes to watch, because that's the way that TV
Yeah.
used to be.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. I
like
remember that. I'm
yeah,
not
I
that
mean
young.
it's not that long ago, but it used to be that we'd have these discussions about a single episode. Now, if like when the Umbrella Academy came out, like what was that, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Season 2 of the Umbrella Academy came out. I had to really be careful about what I watched online, and where, going through Facebook, making sure I didn't read any spoilers, because there's some people that, it came out the midnight it came out, they sat and they watched everything, and so even before I got up in the morning, they had finished the series and were discussing it online, and it's
And they're already making memes about
yeah.
the thing. Yeah, I guess and also you were saying, people talk less about the TV series, because let's say you just watch Umbrella Academy in a week, then you move on to something else. Like the
Yeah.
discussion doesn't stay on Umbrella Academy, so I guess
It,
less people would watch it. Like less people wouldn't care as much about the show or the artistic value behind it.
exactly. It sort of, it makes, I mean, Umbrella Academy shot in Canada. It's shot in Hamilton.
Oh.
Yeah, Hamilton, and I believe The Boys are as well, which is weird. There's two different superhero shows being shot in Southern Ontario for two different streaming services that have two different feels.
But Southern Ontario is so artistic. I used to live in St. Catharines, Ontario, and I've never
Mhm.
seen such a small town have so many live bands, so many artists, painters, everything is just, it's like everyone is an artist in Southern Ontario. They're an artist or a farmer.
Yeah, well, it's very few farmers. It's all suburb. For if you're not in one of the major cities, it's not a small town. It's just it's a bedroom community. It's a suburb. It's also population density makes a thing. But I imagine Halifax has way more bands than St. Kitts does. It, you
You
would
know
not
what? You know what? I don't know about that. There's a lot. How would there be more per capita though?
easily per capita. Like Halifax is a city of about 400,000, and for example, I have a nephew who lives just outside of Halifax. He's in 2 or 3 bands. Right?
I lost that.
Two of them have put albums out, and are still performing. It's like I was at the years ago. I was at the East Coast Music Awards, and I overheard a Haligonian, well, that's what people from Halifax are called, telling his Montreal bandmates.
Yeah.
He says, no, man, you just don't get it. In Montreal, I walk around with my guitar. People go, "Oh, are you in a band? When do you play next?" Halifax, I walk around with a guitar. People go, "Oh, you play guitar?" Yeah, my mom plays guitar.
Yeah.
And that just the like the East Coast culture is just, its music is so ingrained. It's so about entertaining ourselves. For years, it's still prohibitively expensive to get out there for smaller size populations. A lot of people don't tour that way.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're isolated. They've had to learn to entertain themselves. Sort of like in the COVID times, we're learning to entertain ourselves at home, or get entertainment online, which is something I like. I'm kind of excited about, the projects I have online. You have developed this project online in the COVID times.
Yeah.
There is, do you know a plane ticket to Halifax, like when we could take plane tickets, which is what, an hour and a half flight from Montreal, costs the same as it does to fly to Vancouver.
Ah, yes, because it's
right?
a small plane.
It's not that it's
Is
a small plane; they're just as large planes.
Well, why is it so expensive?
Why is it so expensive? It's because it's an economically repressed area. It's been cut off. It doesn't get the same. Like there's probably more flights going to Vancouver, but if they can force the people to pay it, they're going to make
Hmm.
them pay it.
That's that
Yeah.
sounds really shitty of the airline to do. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I
Well,
used to live up north in Quebec, and like the flights they cost as much as like going to India or something.
yeah,
And I hated that because there's no hospitals up north, there's no services. Like, you have to go down south, and they know, and there's only one airline, so like the
yeah,
prices are way up. On the other hand, it's like a very small plane. It's like four places plane, six place plane. Like sometimes it's like bigger, but I always
yeah.
thought that that was like, uh, I don't know why you would do that to the people there. You know, if your aunt is in the hospital, you want to go see her, you have to pay like $700 a pop. You
Yeah.
know,
It's just yeah. It also it makes it harder for artists to get out there.
that's
Uh,
true.
you
Yeah.
know, so to go and entertain. If you drive and do a tour, like that's one of the things about Southern Ontario.
Hmm.
I like to even more dense than Southern Ontario. You go to like either the east or west coast of the United States, or you go to England, right? Like you drive an hour, you're in a whole new population base, right? You
That's,
could do
yeah.
a whole different show.
Yeah.
And in Canada, like it's a 16-hour drive to Halifax, and there might be
Oh
two
no.
2 hour two places along that way where you might be able to put on shows, but they're not going to have the population base that Halifax
Yeah.
has. Like
Yeah.
Halifax is about the same size as Quebec City, like population wise.
Okay.
I think it is actually might be a little bit larger. At one time, it used to be Halifax is the largest city in Canada east of Montreal,
Yeah.
um, and it's just it's been so hard to get to. The government actually ripped up the train tracks to Halifax. Why are we talking about Halifax? I
Because you miss your home.
my I love Halifax. Halifax is a large part, but I Montreal has been home for a while.
Yeah.
It is so.
Why did you move to Montreal?
By accident. The first time I moved here, I moved here twice. So the first time was purely by accident. I didn't mean to move to Montreal. I mean, I was very glad I did, but it was unintentional. Uh,
What do you mean? Who moves by accident? You
I
like
Before I moved to Montreal, I had started working for the festival Just for Laughs. I would come up during the summer. I did that for a couple of summers, and then I went. I really love this comedy thing. Comedy was sort of dead in Halifax, so I wanted to move, but my French was very bad. It still is pretty bad, and so I said I'm going to make a move to Toronto. So I moved to Toronto, and I ended up like working like two separate jobs, doing a little bit of film work where I could, and doing uh, stand up wherever I could, which was easier in Toronto, but it's just fitting it around my work schedules was the trouble.
whoa,
Um,
like that sounds really stressful.
it was because it was just Toronto was an expensive city to live in, so
Yeah.
I needed the two jobs so I could do to afford to live there. And then I ended up, um, I took my regular summer contract to come to Just for Laughs. So they asked me to come in a little bit earlier. So I actually had to quit one of the jobs so I could have the time to come up. And I took a shortened contract. I was working for Sandra Fair and Associates as well. So filming comedy now, I was working behind the scenes, and then I came up to work for Just for Laughs, and it was supposed to be, I think, a 1 month or a month and a half contract, and then they extended it, and then they extended it a third time, and I was staying on a friend's couch, a gentleman by the name of David Pride, and he said, maybe you want to look at getting your own apartment. And so I found some people to be roommates with on the plateau, and I got my own apartment. I contacted my roommate in Toronto. So could you just pack my stuff and like rent my half of the apartment? So I'm not paying rent in two cities. And it was fantastic. Still a good friend of mine today. They packed my stuff away and they rented my half of the apartment.
That's a good friend. That's a good friend.
And it took me another 3 months to do the road trip to Toronto to pick up my crap and bring it to Montreal. So I think it was like the first 5-6 months in Montreal, I was living out of a suitcase. Just I even when I moved into a place, I'd moved into a place that had a bed, so I didn't have to go out and buy a bed.
Yeah.
And
here you are. We're so glad to have you.
Yep, I moved away for a little while, but I came back in 2007. So.
Why did you come back? You just...
my wife at the time, her family was here, and plus it's Montreal. I love the city. I was back living in Halifax. We were living in Halifax, and as nice as that city is, it's small.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have the opportunities that Montreal has.
Yeah, well, there's I was thinking about that the other day. There's not that many stand-up shows in Montreal as I thought there would be.
No.
The maximum you would do is one a week. One a day, sorry. If you were booked for every single one of them.
I mean, part of it is the language. Montreal is, we're a city of what? Are we 3 million?
I have no idea. No idea.
Okay. But if you look at that population and you look at the density, but then take how many people are English first,
right?
And that takes it from being a fairly large city into being a small city or a small town, or I mean a large town, and for the amount of shows that a large town the amount of shows that we have is pretty good for a large town.
I see. Yeah.
That's
true.
And that's the thing. So I mean, Ottawa has which is what, 500,000, 600,000 people. They have as many shows as we have. So
right. I didn't think that Ottawa was that small. 500,000 people?
Well, I don't have a computer handy, so I can't Google it. But I don't know, including Hull, maybe?
Let's see. Ottawa population. It's 994,000.
Okay, so it's just less than 1 million people. But does that include? Is that the Ottawa region or Ottawa City? Because
this just says Ottawa.
Okay.
I think it's the Ottawa region.
Yeah, but yeah, so I was off. But they have more shows than we do here in Montreal. But that's because they have a larger Anglo base.
That's true. Montreal has 1.7 million people.
Yeah. Now, French comedy, there's a little hiccup with the UDA, which makes it a little harder for them to actually run open mics.
What's the UDA?
Union des Artistes, I believe.
Okay.
So for them to be performing in French, Les Bordels, when they have their headline sets, when they have their comedy shows on the weekend, I believe the headliner has to do 14 minutes and 59 seconds. That's technically what they're contracted to do. Okay. Because if they do more than that, the UDA demands that they get paid a certain amount. And that's why we don't have like we don't have French comedy clubs like the Comedy Nest with somebody coming in and doing an hour.
Yeah, I see. Oh, but that applies also to Anglophones. The
No,
UDA thing.
no,
It's only to Francophone artists.
it's only to Francophone artists. The UDA covers stage and screen, whereas the screen for Anglophones is is ACTRA, the ACTRA union, and is it Equity for stage in Canada? To do stage in Canada, I think it's called Equity.
Okay.
And that's the union for English. So they sort of divided it up. But the Quebec, in Quebec, there's actually a star system, and and UDA has done a lot to help people, but it's sort of and the Code de Humor, etc. Like they've done fantastic things for giving young performers like a hand up and get them touring, like the Code de Humor touring shows that they do. They go around to all the small towns in the regions, and they put on these big shows. And so these people get treated like rock stars, and they're given an education on how to manage their career. I think that's kind of fantastic. Whereas like all of us Anglophones are just stumbling around in the dark, and we're undercutting each other because there's no protection like the UDA gives the Quebecois French artists. It's how it works out.
Yeah, I'm still glad to be like on the Anglophone artist side. Yeah, I don't. It's not sides. We're not at war. Everyone's fine. But like, I'm still glad to be like working with Anglophones and in English, just because like I feel like there's more space for me to try out stuff, to break from the mold, to like do like crazy things. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, there's probably more freedom, etc. Like you see people like Mike Ward. You see a number of the Francophone artists. Once they get a certain level, they want to have a more worldwide appeal, and I mean not just to other French nations. So they then sort of port and move everything over into English so they can crack like the U.S. market, etc. But it's a lot of them they'll put the effort in for a while, and then they go, why am I bothering? I'm making enough of a living just in Quebec. And they go from being like the big fish here in Quebec to
the
being small fish.
But I heard I was listening to interviews with Mike Ward and like François Bellefeuille and stuff, and they were saying like they enjoy being a new comedian again because they have to relearn everything and write like new material, and then it's challenging again, whereas like at the level where they were, it was kind of like stagnating. It's like more predictable. They know what they're doing, so they don't have to think about it too much.
There's a certain advantage of having a level of fame. It's a lot harder to screw up. Like now, I'm not going to name a name, but I did see a comedian step out on stage. He had been semi-retired for a while. He had been doing other projects, and then he got back into stand-up. I saw him step out on stage into the Club Soda when it was full. Got like a huge ovation. Some people standing up. Not it wasn't full standing ovation. Walked out, got that, and then did his routine and left to golf claps just because he was so bad. He was so rusty.
Wait. The same comedian got a standing ovation and golf claps?
He walking out on stage made everyone cheer. It wasn't a full standing ovation.
Yeah, they were like so expecting so much, and then like they were like, okay, that was all right.
Well, it was wasn't even all right. But that's just because he was so rusty.
Yeah.
And that's something, that that is a rarity. He could have just gone out there and coasted a lot rather than being as aggressive with the audience as he was, and still gotten off to cheers.
Yeah.
But it had been a long time. He had, his skills were a little off. He wasn't reading the room well, and he just didn't do well. So I'm not naming names. His manager and his writer and his other little entourage. They all went, and they went to a private room to discuss what happened when he got off stage. Yeah.
But that happens, right? When you're in the comedy world, like, you bomb.
Yeah, bombing is part of comedy.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's not getting used to it. You want to be able to learn from it, and that's important.
Yeah. Yeah, I sometimes I go at shows and like I don't do well, and then people are like, "Oh no, you did well," and like that makes me so angry. I'm like, "Stop, stop trying
lying to me."
Yes, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
People were cringing the whole time. Like, just tell me like what you thought, like I'm not blind. Like, I can see they weren't enjoying it,
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you feel like people sometimes they're like lying to you to?
Yeah. Sometimes there's definitely it's people who give the blanket statement saying, "Oh, that was great." Okay, what part was great? Oh, I don't know. I was in the green room chatting with somebody, right? But I heard laughs. If I really hate doing the follow up questions, and I don't do it with civilians. But like if somebody's watching, I'd like to hear their opinion about like what they liked about it, what they didn't, so I can kind of concentrate and grow. Like I like silence. I like making that sort of that little awkward before I get the big laugh.
Yes.
Like you've seen me on stage, and I do the puppy dog face, or like I misunderstood.
You do the puppy dog face. You do.
and like I've misunderstood something, or I'm being misunderstood, and then I find that gives me a better connection with the audience, so I can take them even weirder places.
Yeah.
I like kind of being on stage. I like being somebody that people who are watching go, hold it. Oh, I should be paying attention. I like to kind of snap everybody from just casually sitting there waiting for jokes to going, oh, hold it. I'm missing some jokes. I got to pay stronger attention to what's happening. And I like the up and down of a routine. I don't want, like, I would love to be just bang, 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 bang punchlines, but I think that can be mentally tiring to an audience. And so if I can take them on a little journey and just
yeah, and I think it's better if you have like stories and stuff, and you like build. The payoff is better, in my opinion, if you like build the tension for a while, and then you get a huge laugh. I don't know. I like that. I'm working right now on like my silences. Like I want to try to be more quiet so that people like lend an ear more, because they want to see what I have to say after. So that's where I am after 6 months.
It's also there's mic technique as well, which kind of makes a thing. So if you want to whisper and you want the mic to pick it up, you have to move in closer. But like holding the mic close, you want to make sure you're talking slowly so you're not distorting your voice.
Oh.
Right. So you bring it in, you do that little whisper, but at the same point, if you're going to talk loud or shout, you want to drop the mic far enough away so you're not blowing out the speakers.
Yeah.
That's right. There's mic technique in itself could be a whole half-hour class. Like all the different things you can do with a mic.
That's at the open mic that we have. Like last time there was the public took a while to get there, There was
Okay.
like two big groups that were like coming, and they were both late. So while we were waiting, one of the comedians was like getting it antsy, and he's like, "Can I just go on the microphone and just riff?" Right? And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Sure, like just go." And that's what he did. And then it got me thinking, let's just do that. Like from now on, like at the open mic, like before people get there, like let's just like try out the mic and see how it sounds. Because I feel like a lot of people don't have that opportunity, and then you just try it out in front of an audience. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
won't go as
Practicing.
far. You're not gonna have as much of a good time. Maybe you're not get if you're stressed out. Maybe you don't notice as much like what's going on with the microphone and what you're doing.
Yeah. Peter, if Peter's still watching, he can tell you how I've threatened him before for what he does with a microphone.
Well,
Um,
he's fine with a microphone. Why? What's wrong?
oh, talk to Peter.
It's but it sounds good, right?
Well, there's some things that he does that he could actually have better control. Like Peter sets the microphone on his chin,
Yeah.
which means that if he gets louder or if he talks faster, it's going to distort. The words are going to blend in together. He's got a
Mm-hmm.
great voice,
Yeah.
especially when he's doing his radio voice, but that's not so great. When you're talking about a typical microphone, a typical condenser microphone, and you see a lot of people who've watched way too many music videos, too many rappers, too many, like punk shows, and they hold on to the head of the microphone,
Yeah.
they're distorting uh, how the sound waves hit the condenser. They're distorting how everything is picked up, which gives them like an automatic sort of mumble underneath everything that they're saying,
I see.
and, and it can be distracting to an audience if you're talking quickly. You're not going to be picking up like every beat, every syllable, so
Mm-hmm.
things are not going to come out clearly, and then it's just you're making yourself harder to be understood by the audience.
Yeah.
Right. So those, setting it here, or you see a lot of people just set the microphone onto their chin, or if you see them like lipping right up into it, that's
Well,
not good.
I feel
And
like the more you say that, the more he's gonna do it. You're just pushing him to.
no, actually, no, I think Peter has noticed the difference.
Yeah.
And he has tried. And I think he has a recording of one of the times where he held it there, and then he saw me off stage shaking my head, and then he held it back, and he can tell the difference
Yeah.
audibly
Yeah. Yeah.
between the
Yeah.
two times that he did it. So he has said that it's something that he's trying to learn, or at least he's afraid that I'll hurt him if he doesn't.
He says Paul Ash Sensei. uh,
Okay, Kohai. There is yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done with microphones. What was the oh there was a but like sometimes you want that distorted effect, right? So you
yeah.
can manipulate it to add it in. Yeah,
One thing I really want to do, I'm going to try to work it in, but it's like try to speak really close to the microphone to sound like really anxious about something you're saying as a way to deliver a punchline.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, like a really like awkward, like woo, just like mumbling in it.
yeah. And doing holding it closer will help get that effect. Cupping the mesh will help get that effect.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you do that, you have to talk slower, or else people will
That's
not make out what you're saying.
yeah.
One of the other things about stand-up comedy in difference to singing is the fact is your face conveys so much emotion, right? So you need to drop the microphone so people see the
Oh
whole face.
yeah.
You see
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people with the microphone here, and you can't tell if they're smiling or if they're frowning or
That's true.
whatever. So
That's 100%. My mom is dropping a lot of comments. She says, if English is your second language, it's enough to be really hard to understand.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I recently watched a comedian from India. I wish I could remember his name, but he had this routine about suicide, about his own suicide attempts,
Okay.
and it was incredibly profound and it was incredibly funny at the same time.
Yeah.
And he was performing in English, but in Mumbai. So, like he's a big comedian in India, but he performs in English, and English does not appear to be his first language. And all right, if I can remember who he is, I will
Yeah,
put
yeah, yeah,
his.
because it sounds like really interesting. I like it when comedians they sort of find like a very touchy subject or something that's close to them and they figure out how to make it funny. I feel like that's like those are like works of art, you know.
Yeah.
I could watch those over and over and over again. Like Mike Birbiglia's like the new one. That was amazing.
Which one is the new one? Is it
Is
titled the new one?
Yeah, it's titled the new one. It's
Okay.
about having a kid and
Ah,
how
okay.
like he feels like a horrible father and like
Right.
it's very good.
Yeah. I remember watching Sleepwalk with Me when
Yeah,
it was still just the stage show. Ah, that was great. Or Titus, Norman Rockwell is bleeding. Like
right.
that's when stand up goes into being more of a one person show.
Yeah,
But that got him his sitcom when he had he got the sitcom out of it.
yeah,
Um, and it was brilliant, but it was so autobiographical, so like so much of a confession when he was doing it. I mean, talking about underage drinking and falling face first into a fire that was made with like old railway ties or old telephone poles. So the
wow,
wood had tar on it,
yeah.
so his hands stuck.
Oh shit.
And yeah, being lucky that he didn't die at that point, getting a face full of fire.
Well, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna definitely try to find that right now because it's
Yeah.
like it sounds so interesting.
Mm. Yeah, it's I don't know how well, like there's so many things that I've loved growing up for the art
Mhm.
of it, and then realizing afterwards that a lot of people would find it triggering now. I mean, the lines move, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
Uh,
not a bad thing. It's true. And it's too bad because like I feel like some stories you can't tell.
I think
So
it's
they're
I
lost.
don't think anything can't be told.
Yeah.
I just think that things need to be contextualized.
Right.
Like if we say things can't be talked about,
Hmm.
um, then we're trying to say that we can't think about them. But anything that can be thought about should be
That's
able to
true.
be talked about.
That's true.
And they just have to be handled in a way that addresses anything that's problematic about
Yeah. You're so woke, Paul. You keep me on the
them.
right.
uh, no, at this hour of the morning, I'm never woke is not a description for me.
Can you
It,
see out of your eyes now? Can you focus?
no, actually, I don't even have my glasses on. It's if I put the glasses on, then I'll end up looking like Bubbles. It's not good. Um, but it's yeah, it's I think what a lot of people are called politically correctness, what a lot of people are saying, is uh, the I hate the words, the SJW whatever. The people who are railing against that are the same people who rail against politeness. Like
Yeah.
that's what you're doing. Is you're saying I don't want to be polite.
Yeah.
I don't know why I would call it forever that, but it was like it. This
But
is
it's a war cry. It's like
it,
exactly.
it's like no one wants to think of themselves as a villain,
Mm.
but if they're being casually rude to other people,
Yeah, and making them feel bad about their life experience or themselves and
yeah,
making them rethink how they view themselves
or
and
think,
that's or
yeah,
think. But like, like if I make like a transgender person feel bad about who they are and they're having a whole week out of like my casual just saying
yeah,
something, then I'm not the good guy.
no,
I should apologize. Probably.
Exactly, because chances are it's accidental, and at the same time, um, just to completely prove that I am not woke, I'm going to say if somebody accidentally does something like dead name a transgender person or whatever, or mess up with a pronoun, um, don't immediately tear a strip off them. Just kind of polite them. Well, actually, I prefer them, not she.
Yeah.
Uh, don't rip a new hole.
Yeah.
Just let them know. That was probably a bad joke. I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't a joke. That was an accident about ripping a new hole. But that was just awkward phrasing. Okay, awkward phrasing is my thing. But
Yes,
the
it's
thing
okay.
is, by automatically attacking them, you're putting them on the defensive.
Yeah.
If you politely explain, and they apologize, then if it happens again, it's probably accidental, or they could be doing it to be aggressive. But the thing
Yeah.
is, the first time it happens, just kind of politely,
Also, you give the
remind them.
person, I'm a big fan of giving the person a chance
Yeah,
to make things right or to do things differently or to understand what's going on.
to
Because,
be
like,
educated. Yeah,
yeah, because a lot of times, like, people don't know. And, like, I feel like if you don't have a friend who's transgender, for example, or you don't know anyone who's transgender, then you didn't look into the issues, you didn't
it's not
chat
something
with
you've
anyone about
experienced.
it, like
Yeah,
you don't really care, like you've only watched the comedy movies with like transgender people, and that's everything you've been exposed to, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Like the Wayans
well,
brothers, white girls.
I was thinking exactly about that and the anger management, or there's like
Ah,
a transgender sex worker,
okay. I can't
and
remember.
he's like trying to trigger the main character by like having him interact with
Okay.
her. But anyways, everything that
Yeah,
was made before 2000s, pretty much. Uh, you know.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're at
These
the end of the podcast. Pretty much, it's been wonderful having you here.
Thank you. It's been wonderful being on.
You're such
And
an easy
what happened to my
guest.
voice? I don't know what happened to my voice. Oh my goodness, I've become Peter Bowen. Um, there we are. All right, my voice is back. It's sort of.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks.
You're
Yeah,
amazing.
just let me know anytime you want to start this at noon or. Uh,
But I like 10 a.m. I feel like people are having their coffee.
I'm,
They
I'm. It
can
was.
just watch it.
I was joking. I was joking. I was joking.
It's okay. I interview comedians at 10 a.m. Like, no one likes it. No one.
Except you, and it's your show. It's your name is the first name in the title, so that makes it. This is all about you. I should have been interviewing you, Victoria. I should have had you shooting the breeze.
I shot some breeze.
You shot some breeze.
I
All
shot
right.
some breeze. Yeah. So, do you have anything coming up that you want to, like, let's say a podcast or
Well,
any social media you want people to follow?
yeah. If actually, I probably should have typed this out for you. Linktree. If you go to linktr.ee/Paul Ash, that has all the connections to all my social media. There's also a donation button at the top. And that goes into supporting the channels that I do. I've got 4 video projects. The very last Battlecom for season 1 is going to be happening this coming Friday. So that is the 27th, I believe. It's the 27th of August. So that is the
28th is Friday. You said
28th.
Friday.
Sorry, 28th. That's right. 21st, 28th. 28th of August is going to be the last Battlecom for season 1. And we're going to take a couple of new weeks. We're going to possibly retool it slightly and come back with season 2 on a different day. The Love Doctor live stream has been happening every Wednesday. It is on hiatus for this week. Then we'll have one last one before the Voix de Ville comes back. So Vaudeville will be back September 9th. And the Love Doctor live stream will probably still be happening because a lot of people like it who are not able to come to the Vaudeville shows. So we'll probably keep that up at least once a month. And we're also going to, I'm bringing back the They Talk Funny, my interview show where I get to talk to comedians. There's a whole back catalog if you want to check on the Paul Ash Comedy Facebook page. I talked to comedians from the UK, living in California and New York, as well as a lot of Montrealers as well. And there's a new thing coming out. I don't know if I should announce it yet. It's called Record Reacts or Record Reacts. We're not sure how to pronounce it yet, but it's typed out like Record Reacts. And it's me with a small panel of comedians. I'm introducing them to music from the past, and they have to they have to figure out whether or not it was a hit or wasn't a hit, and they're also reacting to the music at the time. They have to guess the decade that it's from, and occasionally we'll have the music videos as well. So that should be going up on my Instagram when we have chance to record some more issues, because we do it as issues, not episodes.
That's good. Oh, I can't wait to see the Record React thing. I think it's a really original premise. It's going to be interesting.
I try. I think, I'd like putting it, going outside the box. I mean, Battlecom is that grew out of a Yo Mama battle. That's how that started. The Love Doctor is it's just common sense.
It is. It is, and anyone who wants to, I don't know, just like have a smooth evening, feel good, watch the Love Doctor. It's very good.
There's 20 episodes, 21 episodes on YouTube, so you can go and you can watch old.
Oh, by the way, sometimes, I don't know if you know this, I don't want to start any shit between like comedians or anything, but the Love Doctor trash talks about you.
He's ungrateful. I mean, let's face it, he drinks a little too much. All right. I love the fact that even when he's not sober, he's still giving good advice. But he does have a little problem with the twisty of the wristy. As long as he's entertaining people and he's talking about love, we'll let him do that. He claims that I hold back money from him. That's actually probably he's the only person I've been asked to manage a number of people. He's the only person I've said yes to, and he's enough of a headache to explain why I don't want to do it for anyone else. So.
All right. Well, thank you. We're gonna sign off. Have a good day, everyone.